Hello, it's me again on Monday. Just a quick thing. There's some conference calls happening right now in our office, and so the Twitch stream might be quite laggy for a bit. If it is, I can't see if it is or not. But if it is, probably best to go on the YouTube stream, which is live at the same time, and hang out there until everything is not broken. I don't know if it is right now. I think it probably is. It usually is. So we'll see. We'll see. It looks quite bad, but we'll investigate as the day goes on, I suppose. Hi, I have I don't even know what this is actually. I'm using slightly expired milk today and slightly expired tea. It came out as a sort of the tea bag was in a cube, and it's very cube-like, and I don't know if it's really disintegrated properly. There's lots of bits in this, so it might be horrible. Anyway, we'll see. It seems okay. Yeah. Okay. That's I guess that's good then. Yes, it was quite bad before. Maybe it still is. Or maybe it's a bit better. We'll see. Hello. How is it? Yeah. This on the day today. Um, I sit here for a bit and we talk about War Thunder for a bit of time. Probably about 2 hours, maybe longer, maybe shorter. Usually not shorter, but we will see. We'll talk about, well, anything really, anything to do with War Thunder, or potentially things that aren't to do with War Thunder. It's up to you. It's not like hyper anal about what we're talking about. It can pretty much be whatever. So yeah, but chiefly War Thunder. Otherwise, it goes crazy off track, and then we end up just I don't know talking about frogs for about an hour and 40 minutes, which is nice, but in moderation. And so we need to get through the War Thunder bit first, and then into the frogs later on. Not literally, of course, only figuratively. I'm just going to take the bits out of this beverage. This is a fool's errand. It's not going to happen. And then we can talk about video games. Uh, don't drink that. Well, it's too late. It tastes a bit like drinking a Plimsoll or a shoe in liquid form. But yeah, that's okay. It could be worse. Uh, it very much could be worse. Um, Frogs are nice too. That is not incorrect. I like frogs a lot. Some frogs more than others, but in general, I'm quite a big fan. Um, Hello YouTube, how are you doing? I think it expired like yesterday or the day before, so it's not like too bad. Um, I can't really smell milk in general. Well, I can smell milk. It's not like my brain doesn't work when connected to that particular smell. But I think the smell of all milk is kind of gross, so I never know if it's super, out of date or not. So uh, I'm not too convinced about it, but we'll see. If I die midstream, then we'll know. Um, who still play this game? Many people still play this game. I know the exact number pretty much, my daily average. It's probably more than you think. Yeah, a lot of people are playing. Um, I don't know if the B-52 would necessarily be the best pick for War Thunder right now. I mean, it's a vehicle that's really cool. It wouldn't sort of be functionless in the game, but I think with how the more modern jet bombers actually are and how they function, it's very difficult right now in the scope of vehicles we have to put them in a place where they simultaneously have the ability to have a tangible impact on the match and not be obliterated. So it's kind of difficult. It's like how the B-57 was back in the day. It's either at a BR where it's destroyed or it's at a BR where it can outrun everything, and it's sort of it's difficult with vehicles like that. So I don't think it's really a vehicle that would be suitable right now, but maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. The Hydra, that's not the daily player count. That's how many players are on right now. Those players are not the only players on at all times. They sort of log off and log back on with different people. So even though it's an indicator of the amount of people who are on the game at any given time, it's not an indicator of the daily average people who log in, which is substantially higher, of course. Um, Same with the Tu-95, really. It's pretty much the same argument, I would say, for that. Um, let's see. Oh, Yokai's back. Yes. So this time, are you going to be sensible and have a conversation, or are you going to run away again? Because I really hope we're going to have a conversation. So, um, if you come back and you want to talk about things you don't like, please do that, but don't just say blanket statements and hide, because that doesn't achieve anything. So if you want to spend the time to come and talk today, that's brilliant. Please do. If you have the time, that'd be great. What's on my top? My top is it's a cat. It's got a little cat on it. So spoopy. I quite like it. It's quite sweet, and it's getting cooler. So I'm on the whole autumnal thing right now, which is kind of nice, I think. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. So I'm kind of surprised. I mean, we're dropping about 40 frames a second, so that's kind of weird that it's not looking really gross. That's kind of cool. Um, mm. Don't you like your hair slick back? We'll see better that way. No, I think I'm not really super much of a fan of that. I think I'd probably look a bit weird. Well, I look a bit weird anyway, but I'd look weirder. Which, with my general stance, is probably not the best direction I should take. Um, your opinion on the Tigers and Panthers at 5-3 and 5-7? Oh, what do you mean? Like every single one of them? Because that would be a very long conversation. What do you mean? Like, do I think they should be there? How do they work? What are we talking about? Any background footage? Yeah, I can put some on. I was just a bit worried that it would like absolutely tank the frame rate on Twitch, which it might. We can try, but if it turns out awful, we'll put it back. Do you want to see planes or tanks today? I guess Twitch will respond sooner, but yeah, it's the same clip until I can get some more. But we'll see. How do you not sweat off with that hair? I don't really sort of get that warm that much. I mean, only if it's like night. I get kind of warm at night, but in general, like, it doesn't really bother me that much. It's yeah, kind of okay, I guess. How tall are you? Not very tall. I'm like 175 centimeters, I think. Around that? I don't really remember, but around that portion anyway. Planes, 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 tanks, planes. But thank you, Mustang. Very cool. Boats soon then. But planes, okay, I'll put planes on. Hang on. It will start off as tanks, and then I'll press the button, and it will get, well, it will become planes. There we go. Planes. Let me know if the frame rate is garbage. Really love your work, America Tier 41. Thank you very much. That's really, really nice. Soon, I think. I'm quite busy right now with lots of things, so it's difficult to really find a dedicated set of time to actually make the video, I guess, this time around. Excuse me, we've got a very long, well, very big project on right now that I'm working on, so that's taking up a lot of time. And so it might be a bit slower, especially because of how much content there is in Tier 4. So it may be a little while, but I am working on it whenever I can, really. So hopefully not too long, but we'll see. Crystal clear? Very nice. Thank you for letting me know. Nice, nice, nice. You're welcome. Hello, Milo. How are you? I play at 20 FPS, so I don't know if this is bad. Well, that's okay then. Hopefully it's not absolutely unbearable. We'll see. Well, I don't like the current state of helicopter battles. It feels personally like it's not being updated because War Thunder knows people only buy the K50. Simple to exploit the rewards from helicopter battles. Is it really hard to add BR lobbies with heli battles? People can't afford K50s and they've got to deal with it. Well, the main thing with that really is that the EC mode isn't here right now because it's still being optimized. The scope was quite large, from what I understand, and achieving a stable frame rate across the board on all systems is what they're currently working on. So it's not a case of that they assume people will just buy the K50 and leave it at that. I mean, Russia's not the only nation, and if people want to play all the helicopters of other nations, there's going to be a better mode for that. So it will come eventually, but it's not that it's being ignored for the sake of it being ignored. It's just not quite ready yet. I mean, something quite like that does take a fair bit of time. From what I understand, I haven't been able to test it yet, unfortunately. Whenever I've tried, it's been down, unfortunately. But yeah, at some point we will see it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But I can't really say to the time frame right now. Hi. Are you one of the guys that make the triathlon videos? No, I don't do very much on the official channel. I may in the future. There's some stuff I could do, but I don't really want to. I don't want to take up any Bruce time because Bruce is like quite honestly the perfect person to do those kind of videos, and I don't want to like take away from any of that. So maybe in the future I can do a couple, but we'll see. Um, I'm okay. How are you? Good. I'm glad to hear. I'm okay. I'm not too bad today. Um, how are you? I'm a bit late. Sorry, I don't need to be sorry. I'm glad you're here anyway. It's very nice to see you. I'm doing just fine today. Um, how tall are you in feet and in inches? I don't know, 5'8", is it? Around that, I think. One down or one up. Probably. I'm really not sure. Um, it's not that the A10 is complicated to make. It's a case of finding the right time if and when it's applicable to be introduced into the game itself. Because a vehicle like that with a lot of potential for anti-ground and in some instances anti-air ability as well, it needs to be very well timed, I think, as an addition. So it's not that it's technically impossible. It's just that it will. It's one of those things that if it is going to come to the game, it will come when it's ready and in a sort of applicable state for the rest of the game. Frame rate is dropping. Yeah, we have a couple of conference calls going on right now, so the internet's not very good. If it's too bad with the planes, I can just put back on the static background, and that might be a little bit better. But if not, you can go to YouTube as well, and that will be completely smooth. There's no drop frames on YouTube though. Collab with Bruce when? That could be kind of fun. I'd like that. Yeah. You have two very Hasidic British voices. That'd be pretty fun. I'd like that. 175 is 5'10". Then my ID is wrong because I'm definitely not 5'10". It's odd because I've never really measured myself properly. It's just I've been around people who've said their height at different things, and like I'm taller than people who think they're 5'8", and I'm shorter than people who think they're 5'8". So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm around that height. I'm not very tall in any case, so just sort of quite normal, I suppose. Um, mm, mm, mm. uh, sorry, I'm just trying to catch all of these. I've missed a couple. Hello, Kyle. How are you? It's nice to see you. Mm. Best DPI for War Thunder? There's not really I guess, a perfect answer to that. I mean, if you have higher DPI, that's obviously better for a lot of things. Moving the camera around quicker, especially for dogfighting and stuff, it's really important to have your camera on what you're fighting. So a higher DPI is better for that, but if it interferes with your aim in terms of tanks or ground, then it's becoming a bigger problem. What I usually do, which is the same as what I do in basically all games, like shooter games and stuff, is I start at the average and incrementally increase it by the smallest point until I don't notice the increments, and then it gets to a point where I have it on the highest it can go, and it doesn't feel uncomfortable. So I wouldn't say there's a set DPI to, I guess, aim for the sensitivity, but probably just stick with what you're comfortable with, and then slowly increase it ever so slightly whenever you get the opportunity to. And that's what I go with, and that's sort of what got me to a stable area, I guess, with my DPI, and that's what I probably recommend as well because it worked for me, and hopefully on that basis it can work for you as well. Um, oh, sorry to hear that, Kyle. That's really not a nice time. I hope you're doing okay. I hope everyone involved is doing okay, and thank you for taking the time to come here anyway. Um, I mean, if you want to talk, I guess probably not right now, but I mean, if you want to send me a PM or just talk about whatever, you're welcome to do that later on if that would help. Hope you're doing okay. Have you ever washed your hair? This is lazy. Try harder. Yes. I mean, I have a bath every day and I wash my hair every day. Um, I'm sorry if that shatters your worldview. Try not to be upset by my appearance. I mean, I know it's hard sometimes, but I mean, there's really nothing to gain from it. It's just a waste of your energy, I must say. Um, hmm. Are you guys going to add a new tech tree? Maybe. I'm not sure, honestly. There's probably a couple of tech trees that are more likely than others, but I'm not sure. I mean, at least from my perspective, I mean, new tech trees are pretty fun because there's lots of, I guess, incremental and low tier stuff that you can unlock, and the progression's quite quick. And I do quite like it for that. But I'm not sure if one is quite likely soon. I mean, I've got no idea, basically. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Um, we will see. I don't think it's an impossibility, but at the same time, I don't think it's hugely likely. Um, yeah, it is pretty fluffy. It's I don't really know why it's like that. It's my hair's just really thick. It's unbearably thick. Um, misses. Don't take that out of context. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just looks like this all the time. I'll probably get it cut at some point, but I don't know when I will do that or if I will do that. Um, what do you think about of the new War Thunder merch? Lol. I haven't really seen it very much. It seems quite basic to me. There should be some more like memey things in there. I think so. Maybe we can uh get something more interesting soon. I'm not sure, but it's okay. I mean, it's nice to have some War Thunder stuff after so long. So that's yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. Um. hmm What do you think is the most underdeveloped tech tree? I'm not sure. In the sense of like just not having many vehicles in general, or having fewer vehicles than it should have. Because I guess those are two different things, and my answer will be different depending on which one. Um, yeah, like this cup is yellow, and the green screen is quite aptly named and applicable to its name. I don't know why this happens. It just kind of do. How do you dry your hair after washing it? I comb it at the back and the sides. I just wear a towel on my head because when your hair's really thick and kind of long, if you just towel dry generally, it just there's too much friction and it gets can damage your hair a little bit, and it makes it kind of very frizzy. So I just kind of make sure it's relatively straight and then just have a towel and leave it like that. Um, sorry, YouTube, I've missed some of you there. Um, when are we going to get the Stug 4? Oh, well, Stu. The difficult thing with that is that it's a really cool vehicle. I'd like to have it because well, I like the Stug series and they're very cool. But it's not really a vehicle that's intensely necessary, if you know what I mean. In the TD line, like this, the Stug 4 would probably be above after the 3G, and right now we have the Stug 3F at 3.3. Excuse me, the 3G at 4.0, and the Hetzer at 4.3, as well as the Jagdpanther too. So it would just literally be adding a vehicle that wouldn't change the playstyle much at the same BR as other vehicles that share an identical playstyle. And on that basis, I think that it's not really a priority. But at the same time, it's a really cool vehicle, so I would like to see it. But it's also a kind of I guess a tricky one in the same way of the B26, the Marauder, in that it's a really cool vehicle, but it would probably be around a BR of another vehicle like the Mitchell that basically does exactly the same thing but slightly different. So it's again a really nice vehicle that will probably come to the game at some point, but it just can't really be such a priority, I guess, right now, where there are other areas that are lacking playstyles and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that'd probably be my answer to that one. Hook's a huge fan of your YouTube. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming by here. I'll hopefully have the next one done kind of soon. I just have a bit too much stuff to do right now, but whenever I have free time, basically, I'm working on it. So hopefully it shouldn't be too long. I hope. Yeah, see, Mustang knows. Mustang is probably one of the most adept technical people in this sort of community for the game. And so if there are any very technical questions right now, please don't spam him with it. But if you do have any, I'm sure he'll be able to help out more than me. Yes. Stug 3G replaced with 4 and moved to rank 3? What do you mean? Do you mean remove it from the game or just swap it? Because I mean, changing the rank and stuff still doesn't really change much, at least functionally in the game. Um, but I mean, see the perspective, and it's very nice to have a vehicle like that because they're very pretty. But yeah, it's just there are other areas being worked on, I think, right now. Um, what's your favorite tea? I quite like um I quite like Earl Grey and Lady Grey. They're very nice. I'm a fan of those. I think they're probably my favorite, I would say. Do you recommend the Centurion Mark V AVRE or the IS-6? Um, the IS-6 is tricky because it's a rank 4, and rank 4 premiums don't really have that much value anymore in the game because rank 5 is so small and rank 6 is so big. And with the all of the RP required to get a rank 6, well, to get all rank 6 vehicles, um, it's more well, it doesn't have that much tangible value because you can research down, but you can't research up, and so you all the vehicles up to like rank 4 are probably like even less than all the vehicles in rank 6 or comparatively. So yeah, it's kind of tricky for the i6. The i6 is much easier to play though. It can be quite forgiving depending on the BR and the map that you get. The AVRE is incredibly good, well, in general, but even more so in arcade. If you play arcade, absolutely go for it because it's aiming is really, really easy. The armor's quite forgiving, and you know, if you can aim that gun, then the vehicle will work. And so, in arcade, I recommend it absolutely. So, yeah, it's kind of tricky. I think probably the AVRE is the better product, but it depends on what you really want ultimately. And if you were to play arcade, you can play it in RB. It's definitely possible, but it's not as easy, especially if you're not quite as confident with the game itself. But it is a better product, so I can't really say there's a objective answer. But for a product, probably the Centurion. But for a vehicle, an easy to use vehicle, probably the IS-6. Yeah, the internet's not very good right now because there's a lot of conference calls going on in the office, so that's taking up all the internet. If it's too bad on Twitch right now, you can go to YouTube. There's absolutely no drops on, well, no drop frames on YouTube whatsoever, and yep, so you can go there, and it will be much smoother. Um, can the Leo A1A1 be moved to 7.3 to combat the Type 87? No. Um, any recommendations for a non-premium tank to grind the German tech tree? What tier are you looking at? Because tier has like a very big impact on the answer there, I think. Uh, what do you think? Just research the Helldiver. I know it has a fantastic dive bombing ability, hence the name, but what about engaging fighters and bombers? It's pretty adept at that. It's a vehicle that you can only really get the most out of it as a dogfighter by using keyboard controls, because with mouse aim it will not turn as quickly as it can potentially. So you need to use keyboard controls like elevator control and that kind of thing. It's very maneuverable. It loses speed very quickly, but it has very good guns. The 20mm cannons that the Americans use are great. And so it's pretty adept at that, especially because of the bomber spawn. It spawns very high. So you can energy trap fighters in their slow climb initially, or go after bombers quite easily as well. So it's pretty adept at that, but it does have a tendency with its control services to be a bit tricky. It overrolls a bit too. So yeah, it's a bit easy, oh, a bit difficult, excuse me, to control adequately enough. But with the right control input, it can be pretty decent, and I quite like it for that. Um, how will you address all players in arcade ground forces that jumps out after first tank? Yesterday I had a game where their 8 teammates abandoned after playing one tank. There are measures in place to limit people from doing it, but it's something that can't really be strictly enforced beyond crew locking people. And as well, it's not something that happens every single game. I mean, if it were, then probably there'd be more things in place. But it's not something that can be strictly enforced like that because sometimes people have their reasons for leaving. If they have only a couple of vehicles, or if they actually need to go somewhere, or if they're playing with a friend who needs to leave or whatever. So there can't really be immensely strict ruling on that. But at the same time, yeah, it can be frustrating, and potentially there could be more systems in place, maybe a staggered crew lock if it happens over and over again. But um, some people will just only have a couple of tanks to play in their lineup. Same with aircraft as well. I mean, it's a tactic in Air Arcade to just bring one plane. Sometimes it limits your BR. You can play at slightly lower BR. You just bring one plane. So yep, it's a difficult issue, I suppose, because there's not exactly a black and white answer to fixing it because of the grey area and the variance between how it actually manifests that people leave. So it can be kind of a difficult question to have an adequate answer to, but maybe there can be some more things or more systems in place in the future for stopping people leaving, but it's not black and white, unfortunately. Remove crew locks so we don't have to play these horrible maps? No. Just play lots of different nations. That way, if you don't want to play a map, you can just play something else, or do the washing up, or tidy your room or something. I mean, it needs to exist for some reasons, but there are ways in game to not deal with it. Why is low tier Italy so useless? I would not say that it is at all, really. And I've got some pretty strong vehicles here and there, some that are quite weak, but others are actually pretty good. I don't hate it, really. They're not the best, but they do work. Absolutely. Sorry, YouTube, I'm missing you out a lot here. What do you think about Swedish helicopters? There's some they could have. A lot from trials and that kind of thing. Maybe we'll see them at some point. I think we probably will. I don't know when though, because there's not a huge amount they can have, especially equipped with adequate weapons. I mean, they did test a fair few of them, from what I understand, but not actually with much weaponry at all. So yeah, it would be kind of a sparse tree, probably a bit like Italy, but probably at some point. Probably at some point we will get it. I would have thought. I don't know though. I can't really speak to if and when particular things are coming to the game or not. It's not really my place to relinquish such information. Can you guys stop up-tiering me? It doesn't really work like that. You have a 25% chance to be top tier at any given time, really, and 75% chance to not be. And that's just sort of how it goes. I mean, if you were never up-tiered, then, other people would never, it needs to be a compromise in that sense. Do you like the new UK armored cars, like the concept? Yeah, I think they're pretty good. They're not the best armored cars, I think, in general, but the concept is pretty good. It's a light tank that was needed at the BR, so it adds another playstyle to that area of the game, which is really, really important, and I like that quite a lot. I haven't played it too much, but from the playtime I had with it, I did quite enjoy it. So yeah, I like things like that. Hopefully Britain can get a few more vehicles in a similar vein as well. That would be pretty nice. I would like that. Well, I'm always the 25%. The 25% is that you are up tiered. So, you're down tiered to be the highest echelon. There's no set, I guess, percentage. I think for like the increments of the BR that you're actually playing at, but it's the case that 1/4 of every team, which is 25%, obviously has the potential to be in a top tier vehicle, and the rest are below that. That's just how the system works. Um, why don't War Thunder have roundels from small nations like Bangladesh? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll get some more. It's certainly something to suggest, I would think. There's not really a negative for them coming to the game in any capacity. So, yeah, I mean, by all means, something to suggest on the forum if you have the chance. Why do I have to keep purchasing decals that I already bought? You don't have to do that. What do you mean? Um, let's try and find something not shouty here. Uh, hang on. I'm going to snipe something on eBay in a minute. How much? Bear with me. Okay, I'll set an alarm for 14 minutes. Bear with me. This is also technically my job, so I need to do it. Um, can we please get more official info about how MM works BR-wise and nation-wise? There's not really anything special to it. You just have a random chance of playing a match at a set BR. The nations, I don't believe, have any particular onus on their frequency. It depends on, well, the people playing the game at that given time. That's pretty much the only deciding factor on it. And yeah, you have well, a quarter chance of being top tier and 75% chance of not being top tier. That's on the wiki. You can read that yourself. It's been that way for a very long time. Is that you playing on these games? Yes. The footage the footage in the background is from me. Yes. I know it's stupid, but will there be a chance of lights on planes like landing lights? Maybe. It's something that will take a lot of work to get them on every single aircraft, and I think on that basis, it's not really much of a priority right now. But even so, it's something that will be cool, and I think it's also something that at some point probably will come to the game eventually down the line. Like I had to guess, but I don't know. Maybe it's something that will never happen. Maybe it will happen soon. I really don't know, but I think it's probably not a priority, but also not unlikely that it will never happen. How does it feel to be in Gaijin? Pretty, pretty fine, I guess. How can you play on so many accounts? I don't. I play on one that I rename constantly. Do you think the Swedish, French, and Chinese should get a navy? I think France could easily get one, but I don't know about China or Sweden. I think they could probably get some. I think China had a lot of. They had some cruisers and some destroyers, but I don't think they had much in terms of small craft or like anything that could make quite a like a versatile set of vehicles. Um, I don't know. Maybe they could have some premiums and like a very very small line. But I mean, I don't know too much about it to be honest. But yeah, France probably quite likely. The others not so much for a while, I would guess. I do have to repurchase some decals that were already owned. So that's the key. You didn't buy them; they were available just by default. And to keep it uniform, they have a very light requirement. And for those very early decals, it's not like you're losing tons of time. It's like play 30 games and you get the decal again. It's not something that was ever taken away because it was free. It was there automatically, and it's just that it's not something that you earned or had the right to have. It's just something that just so happened to be there by default. And now to keep it all uniform, it's a couple of games and you get it basically. Why does the verified War Thunder English TikTok account only have 4,000 followers? I don't know. I don't really pay attention to TikTok whatsoever. It probably isn't much of a priority right now, if I were to guess. Why Ferdinand is on 6-3? What do you mean? Because its performance deigns it to be there. What are you trying? What's the implication? Can you imagine me with a moustache? I'd look bizarre. I mean, you could probably Photoshop it, but it would be quite sinister. I would have thought. I don't really grow much on my head. It don't work. But yeah, I would look very weird. I think probably wouldn't suit me, but I don't know. um, let me see. Any Goid advice for grinding silver lines faster? Well, there's. I mean, the honest answer is premium account, premium vehicle. But if you don't have much ability to, well, have either of those things, finding a good aircraft you enjoy at a decent tier can be quite fun. Something that you can enjoy playing. And the core of the question really, and ultimately, is that if you're playing something you enjoy, you will have more fun doing it, and you'll probably play better, and you will by proxy earn more if you're in that mindset. So that's a really important thing. Excuse me. So it's not really about finding the objective best vehicle in the world for doing it. It's just finding a lineup or a vehicle that you really like playing. And if you can do that and it's something that you can play over and over and over again that you enjoy, that will probably get you the most lions because, you're having a good time. And that's probably the answer I give. If you have a bit of money, though, generally, if you can buy a premium tank and premium plane, playground RB, have them in the same lineup and not an imbalanced lineup, and that way you can have a pretty decent impact on in the ground and in the air, and in any given situation and in every map, you can probably have a pretty good set of a pretty good run of getting some SL, and that works quite well for me, and that is probably what I would recommend if it's all possible. Try and find a premium that's versatile though, one that works in up tiers and one that works on pretty much all maps. That's a pretty big factor as well. You can borrow my moustache, it'll be fine. Whoa, yeah. I mean, maybe we can Photoshop it. Photoshop yours onto my face. Ooh, misses. There's some context. Um, hello, Surfer. How you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm a bit tired today, but doing okay. Apart from that, not too bad. Um, any new tips for new free to plays? I would probably recommend playing. Well, it depends if you want to play tanks, planes, or ships. What I usually recommend is to, well, if you are playing planes, tanks, just relative, play every single nation in rank 1 and spade every single rank 1 vehicle. It won't take very long. You'll constantly make progress. That makes your brain happy. And by doing that, you get to experience a lot of the entry level play styles of some of the nations to an extent. A lot of it changes, but to an extent, you get a picture. And it also helps in general because if you spade every British vehicle and you play Germany, you know the weaknesses of all those British vehicles that you've played already, and that goes against, well, it goes along with everything else that you're playing. Every nation, you have a better perspective. So you'll make quick progress, you'll learn the weaknesses and the advantages of your opponents, and that way, say if you get bored of one nation, you already have a start in another. So it's a really strong start to do that, I think. And that's probably what I would go with as a new player to start off, I think. Battlefield STG-44 is the most overpowered gun in the game. Yeah. Okay. I have pineapple juice. That's very cool. I'm glad. I quite like pineapple juice actually. Big fan of that. If it's not too sweet, I can be a fan. No, I am checking YouTube chat. I just ignore the spam because, I mean, there's no point. I'm actually reading more from YouTube chat than Twitch today. What is the most sus vehicle in the game? Man, come on now. It's the current year. These are not words we can say. when is the next update and what is in it, I can answer neither of these questions, of course. You'll have to wait and see when it comes around. I can't release any upcoming information that isn't released officially yet. I can give some insight on things sometimes, but not in the sense that I'm, I guess, leaking stuff. That's not something I can do. Is the B6 a good investment? Yeah, I mean it's a vehicle that's very well defended and has some pretty good bomb loads as well. So yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not a vehicle for everyone because I mean, bombers. It's not really a playstyle that everyone really, I guess, enjoys. But if you like something more chill, it's a very good bomber. You have potential to knock out a lot of bases. You can use the guns on soft targets if you get the opportunity, and you can, knock out enemy aircraft pretty comfortably as well. So I would say so. Yep, it's not a bad pick for sure. Um, just found my favorite lineup, 7-3 Germany, and enjoying the game now. Very good. Very nice. Yeah, pretty decent lineup. Got a lot of options. Leo's great. The pattern as well. There's a lot of good options there. Very versatile. Some good aircraft too. Um, Definitely a strong pick. I will breathe now. Lovely. Um, is Italian bombers too OP? No, they're okay, but they're not um, incredible by any means. I'd quite like the SM82 actually. That'll be a nice one to get the SM82. Um, very large boy. Very cool. Do you pick the Stuka with the 37 or the IL2 with the 37? I like the Stuka more. The IL2 with the 37s is a bit too heavy, and it just sort of it doesn't feel as agile to me. The IL2s are deceptively agile. The late series are, and yeah, probably the Stuka. I mean, the Stuka's hardly agile either, but the IL2 is fighting in a more competitive BR. So yeah, I'd probably go for the Stuka. Have you ever existed? Well, it depends on perception, I suppose. I mean, I didn't exist to you before you were aware of me, so I guess it depends. I've existed a bit, and also not at all. No, it's like I'm eBaying. Give me a moment. It's also for work. One second. And we are good. Okay. Set. Um, what's a good ground support aircraft for Germany in 7-3? The C3 Arado is good. The 262 squadron vehicle version is good, and the 50 mil one as well. That one works fine even at the high BRs. Obviously not that great against other aircraft. It lacks a little bit there, but it's very very good against tanks. Absolutely, those are probably two strong picks for sure. Can you place the Jagdpanther to 6-3? It's too OP for 6-0. I can't do that because it's not my department. It's a very easy vehicle to play if you well have it in the right situation, but it's a vehicle that's not suited to every map, and it's also really easy to misplay, and that's probably why it's at 6-0 because 29 out of 30 people are not playing it to its strengths, and that's usually why vehicles like that are a bit lower than on paper they look like potentially they should be. So yep, I mean I think it's an incredible vehicle even for 6-3. But with only 40 mil of side armor and no turret, it's going to be out of place in a lot of situations, and a lot of people are not going to be utilizing it very well in that situation. So, yeah, that's probably the justification I would give for it right now. I need more water. Yes. Okay, right. I need to outpace some collectors right now. How much do I want to spend on this? Mm, mm, okay, give me 20 seconds. I'll see how much I can go for this one. Are you standing or sitting? I'm sitting. I would quite like a standing desk though, that would be quite nice. But sadly, it is not on the cards right now, disappointingly. Okay. Let me just check something else as well. Bear with me. Thank you. Okay, we're back. Dogness, I answered this earlier. Um, it's mostly just because it's a vehicle that's not. It wouldn't add much to the game already. Um, well, it wouldn't add anything new effectively. It would just be placed at a BR around vehicles that already do the same thing, basically, just slightly differently. And on that basis, it can't really be as much of a priority. It's a really iconic vehicle, and it'll be like lovely to see it in game. I'd like to see it in game more than top tier stuff. But because there are bigger gaps to fill of different playstyles and vehicles that function a certain way at different areas of the game, it can't really be a strong priority right now. In the same way that there are versions of the P40 we don't have, the Stug 4 is not in the game. It's things like that. Um, that's not a bad price. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind paying that. I'm buying some Chinese wartime medals as to resell in the future, and so I just need to. I kind of want to give away some on the War Thunder social media at some point, so I might do that. But yeah, got a couple of Atlantic stars today as well with the documentation, which is always nice. Um, so that's gone pretty well. So I just need to process that, and we are good to go. Okay. The best in the West. Debatable, but not untrue. Why the Jagdpanther is unplayable at 6063. It is not unplayable at 6063. The Jagdpanther is intensely capable in both situations. Hang on a second, I'm just double checking the particulars. What air group was this from? Hey Smeagol, how you doing? Good to see you as always. How are you? Okay. Yep, good set. Good set. Okay. Cool. Cool. Do you think we'll get the French Navy this year or next year? Um, I have no idea. If I were to like just guess off like I guess at the base of nothing at all, I'd probably say French Navy's not unlikely, but I have absolutely no idea if it's coming this year or not. Um, yeah, I really don't know. Actually, no, the Jagdpanther is food for my ISC 152. Just because you can click on the vehicle with a tank that negates armor does not mean the tank is unplayable. That's a very, very strange argument to make. The Jagdpanther is hugely capable at the BR, and just because you can kill it with a vehicle that negates its advantages does not mean anything whatsoever, I'm afraid. Um, when is the P59 getting an actual flight model instead of the magic pixie dust powered one that it has right now? What are you basing its incorrect flight model on other than that you think it looks wrong? Because I don't know. Maybe it's hugely incorrect, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's incorrect a tiny amount. I mean, often with this game, that just because something seems really bizarre, it has no basis whatsoever. I mean, it's a really powerful vehicle, but I mean, just because it is incredibly agile doesn't mean that it's magic. I'm not trying to say that I think it's a flawless model right now. I don't know, but in the same way, you know, it's not. It's often not as black and white as that. Hello, Mr. Copsey. How are you doing? How are you doing? I am doing a stream on Monday to talk about War Thunder and other particular things if they come up. How are you? How have you? What have you been up to recently? And has whatever you've been up to gone well? Um, oh yeah, the 109Z is well, it was in the game and removed from the store a while ago. Maybe it'll come back at some point in the future. Not too sure. Not too sure on that one, I'm afraid. It'll be nice though. It's a very interesting vehicle, quite unique. I like it for that. Is okay. Hmm. Ominous. Ominous. You live. Excellent. This I am very happy to hear. Um, yeah, so I think in the future, a lot of old models will probably get updated. It's just again that it's not like an intense priority right now. For there's lots of other things to well, it comes to the game first. But I think at some point probably. I mean, what I would love to see is them update it and add like the Black Cat premium. That would be amazing. So hopefully we can see that at some point. And I mean, with gathering feedback, etc., the team know how well received model updates are. So I think it's something that they will definitely be doing in the future. But it's just, you know, not a priority, but at some point it's not unlikely that it will happen. Yes, Smeagol, different species of tea again today. The tea was so old, the tea had hardened into a sort of rock-like substance. Yeah, it was like a compacted gravel, the tea. It doesn't taste awful. It's actually okay. But it's still not incredible by any means. But it's all right. Um, should I get the T10A? Tricky. I mean, in the right situation, it can work really well, but it's not immensely versatile in up tiers and on some maps because the gun depression and the slow reload. Um, it's got a pretty good lineup. I think it's still quite cheap, unless well, I haven't checked it for a while, but I would imagine it's still decently cheap. Um, for a tier 5 premium, at the BR that it's at and the price that I believe it's still at, um, I think it's not the worst. I think you could definitely pick a worse premium to pick up. If it's still holding quite a cheap price, I think it's probably worth getting, just because you know you aren't going to get a product like that at that value anywhere else. But at the same time, it's a vehicle that does struggle in up tiers and on hilly terrain, and you know the gun is not incredible in up tiers as well. So it's tricky. I would definitely say it's not a mistake to pick it up, but at the same time, I think if price is not an option, well, excuse me, not an issue, you could probably get something better. I would say. Um, you do be farming, I suppose so. Yes. Um, what plane has the best turning rate? Um, just down to cold numbers, it's the Gladiator, but the Gladiator has so low energy retention that it can basically turn once and then it falls out of the sky. So it's not quite as black and white as that. It's technically the Gladiator, but something like the later i15s and the Key 27 can turn better in a sustained way. Um, yeah, Smeagol, I agree with you. I've made a point about this because yeah, it's a at least for me, it's a really stupid decision. I mean, not really that it's a stupid decision, but like it's I don't believe it's intended, so it's not it's just stupid in general. Um, because the AA is way too powerful for the speed those aircraft are traveling, and it basically locks off the middle portion of the map for one team, which is pretty poor. And at the same time, it basically punishes new players without them making a mistake, which is just ridiculous for me. So I think it's something that is not intentional from what I understand. So we can probably give it a better look at some point soon. Because I agree. I mean, there's no point in it being that powerful. It's reductive and it adds nothing to gameplay whatsoever. So I'm with you on that, and we can hopefully look into that a bit further. Hello, Oxy Chan. How are you? I'm okay. I'm yeah. I'm okay, thanks. Um hmm. What's the worst premium vehicle in terms of value? Hmm. I guess you could probably, in a disconnected way, say the pre-orders for the coastal ships, because they're like tier 2 premiums now, and in the grand scheme of things they don't offer much. So probably those, I would say. Um but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Hmm. Difficult. I will dwell on this. One second. I sound so sad. I think that's just my voice. Um, don't remind me of the pre-order boat. Yeah, I got all three, so you know I win the pity game right now. So yeah, 1 second. I'm just conversing with work people. One second. Okay. It is not soap. No, I'm afraid. What do you think about Aussies? They're fine, I guess. I know some Australians that are super cool, and some who are not. Much like all things in life. Um, it is difficult to form answers to those particular questions. Hang on a second. I'm talking to about three other people about very different things. Very, very, very different things. 1 sec. Okie dokie. Apologies for my spotty responses. There is always plenty to do. Okay. Very cool. One of my colleagues is not feeling very well at the moment, so I'm just making sure they are alive. Okay. Sorry about that. I've missed loads of chat. Just catching up on particular things. Why can't I test drive non-premiums? I don't know. I mean, if I were to guess, probably just because someone can then experience every vehicle in the entire game without really playing it, which you know, would take away the point for a lot of people. I guess that's the answer I would give, but I don't know. Um, it's not my my remit, I would say. Do you like your job or is it not fun? I do like my job. I have lots of different things to do here at Gaijin. This doing these streaming is like a very small part of it, but I work in a lot of other areas as well, chiefly marketing and that kind of thing. But I also do a lot of other stuff as well. B-roll footage I make, trailers I help make, um, English text I work on a lot, the English text in our games, proofreading, a lot of that. Some super testing when it comes around, so I do some of that, and yeah. So there's lots of little things that I do here and there, which is good I think because I think if you have one particular task in your job, it can get really monotonous. But if you're doing something, well, if your job pertains to having two, three, four individual tasks, you can jump between when they come up. It keeps things fresh, which is better, at least for me anyway. Hey Warpath, thank you for the raid there, much appreciated. How are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. How was your stream? Always very nice to see you there. Why is his face so big? I don't know why my face is so big, I'm afraid. I don't know if it's that my face is big or that my body's small. My body is quite small, so it's probably that, I think. I'm not a very wide person, or a very long person. I'm just sort of, don't know, in between, I suppose. Do you think Gaijin needs more employees? Yes. And hopefully we'll have some more soon. You were in marketing school? Nope, I had no experience in marketing when I joined here, but I started working on marketing and now I know a fair bit about it, at least relative to what like the marketing we do is. So yeah, I know a fair bit, not really in a broad sense, but in a very sort of niche and specialized sense. I've got a decent perspective right now. Could be a lot better, but still not too bad ultimately. Um, it is a fun job, yeah. I like it. I am a fan, I would say. If I become an employee, can I buff the Nords? You can um, suggest such things, but they would need to be. Oh, there's more medals I need to buy. Hang on. I don't think I can afford those ones. Well, I can. Oh, they do come with a box, but otherwise I'm going to be incredibly poor. No, I'll leave this one anyway. Um, how tall are you in centimeters? On my ID, it says I'm 175, but I think I'm a bit smaller than that. I think. I don't know really. Um, in the like, I usually tell people I'm like 5'8", roughly, but I'm taller than people who say they're 5'8". And at the same time, I'm shorter than other people who say they're 5'8", so I really don't know. Um, excuse me. I really have no idea. I'm not that tall, really. I think I'm pretty much bang on the average of I just pinged a hair clip into the audio receiver jack. That's incredible. I wish I could show you that. That's gone right into the audio jack. Don't give me electric shock. Okay, very nice. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, I'm sort of quite average height, I think. Um, not to hate, but do you guys specifically make the events really hard? They're not hard. They're just time consuming because in this sense, time is the fairest thing to trade for something exclusive because it was based on skill, like something like the E100 that limits a huge amount of players who can never get it. If it's money, that as well limits a huge amount of players that can never get it. Time is the one thing that almost everyone has the ability to compromise for. And those who are at school or work, well, work especially, you can trade as you do for work your time for money. So it works in that sense. But yeah, they're not really designed to be hard, but they do need to take some time for it to be exclusive. Otherwise, there's no point. If it takes everyone an hour to unlock everything, then it might as well just be in the tech tree. 191, dude, you got some height. That's immense. Can you come to the shop with me and pick up all of the good stuff on the highest shelf that I can't reach? Actually, the shops in Germany don't have much stuff on the highest shelves, so I'm usually okay. But amazing, very nice. Man, I've always wondered what it's like to be tall. I can blend into crowds easily, so that's quite good. Um, head pat. Yeah, I'm quite good for head pat sizes. I'm at a good sort of shoulder ratio for pets, which is nice. Um, mm, mm. Will you ever make new videos covering the new vehicles in the countries you've covered? Yeah, what my general plan is that once I've done covered every tech tree, I will make a revisited version of every other tree, and then I'll probably do like a 1 year later for every like well once I've done like an update that's well as up to date as it can be for every tree around the same time, I will then make incremental updates, like maybe update videos, I guess, for everything. But I'm not sure what kind of videos to make after that. I want to do air videos as well, and then some other stuff, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to see. eBay, please. Sorry for doing the bin yacht voice again. Um, that's my motorcycle noise. Um, sorry, I've missed some comment. Uh, thank you for the pats emoji. That's very nice there. Um, is it possible to bring the MB5 down to 4.7? It is an arcade, I guess, if you play it as the only vehicle in the tree. Why do I take so long to release tech tree videos? Because they take time. Um, the thing is, like, I can play for like 5 games and get some footage, and then just write some stuff out. And I can do that, but it feels lazy to me. And I always find that after playing like a lot of games, like 20 games, I I find like I accidentally stumble into situations where I'm like, oh, that can work in the video, and I wouldn't have thought of that if I'd just gone on the base knowledge I have. So yeah, they take a while because I want to be thorough with them, and in the sense that like it's a good. I think is it like an Iwata or a Miyamoto quote where he's saying something along the lines of like you can rush something and it's forever rushed, and I'd rather make something that's useful and helpful and has all the information needed, um, even if it takes a bit longer. So that's my perspective, but I can always try and speed things up. Being tall means you can catch a breath in a crowded area, but at the same time, you feel like everyone's watching you. That's true. That's actually really true. I'd probably hate that because like, I'm not really a fan of being like stared at very much. I kind of that's a good point. I'd actually like the aspect of kind of hiding in crowds. Interesting. That's a good one. I didn't think of that. I'll put tanks on now. There we go. There we go. Cool. So here we have tanks. You got a split second of boring desktop as well. What's on your shirt? It's a cat. It's a little spoop, little spoopster. I think it's quite cute. Um, has it been your birthday yet? Yes. Um, many days ago. Hello, Ruby Fox. How are you? Do you think the OI would fit into the game? For me, I would love to see it in the game, but I think it goes against, I guess, the thematics of what the team actually want. In that historical vehicles, at least authentically presented vehicles, are what the team want to go with, and the OI can't really fit into that. Like my perspective, and maybe you guys can would agree or disagree with me, but from my perspective, if a vehicle was designed in the time period, if it was designed in the time period and could have either existed in mock-up and we have all of the information required to know how it works, like we know the mass, the armor, the engine, the firepower, the ammunition stored, the crew. If all of that is known and tangible, I would like it in the game if it fills a gap, or at least it adds a playstyle that otherwise would be impossible. So for Japan, they have a lot of prototype tanks that could fill gaps like that. So from my perspective, I'd like the OI because it wouldn't break. Um, in the World of Warplane sense, I guess, of like those kind of fantasy vehicles, it wouldn't entirely break the thematics. The vehicles were designed at the time, and they would add something to the game. I'd probably be against adding stuff to the game that's like a mock-up if it didn't really contribute anything. But if it's something like the I would like to see it. That's my perspective. Maybe you guys would disagree, but that's at least how I see it right now. For me anyway. Um, Collab with Bruce Wayne. I'd like to do it at some point. Maybe we can do that. You can be the dream team. Um, mm, mm. The OI is what? It's a sort of a experimental concept-y Japanese heavy tank series, um, which is sort of a not exactly well, very very prototypey, very very papery. Also, in the background here, I just stumbled across these like this line of Russian tanks that just did not know what was happening. I don't know why this happened. It's just like somebody collect your mans, please. They are lost. Um, do you prefer high or movie settings? I only really play on the highest because my PC can run it, which I'm lucky enough to have a PC that can run really high quality. And I mean, I could play on low quality for like the buff to like I guess line of sight and stuff, but meh. Um, I prefer the so I don't know. I like pretty things, so stupid thing to say. So yeah, I like the high settings. Will Gaijin secretly add UFOs? Maybe. Something I think is really cool is when video games do incredibly rare thing that's weird. So like if you had like a 1 in 20,000 chance of seeing a UFO in an ARB match just like appear and then like zip away, that would be really cool. And I'd really like it if, a developer had the time to add that. That would be brilliant. I'd really like that. I don't think there's anything in the game like that right now, but it would be really nice. It would be really nice. Um, Hungary, we can't add a market for console. It's not up to us. It's Sony and Microsoft don't allow it to have like internal marketplaces on their platform. If it was up to us, we'd already have it on both platforms, but we are just not allowed to do it, unfortunately. So it's yeah, it's on them, I'm afraid. Sup, champ? I don't know why I turned into David Lynch then, but I did. Hello. What percentage of planes have twin sights in the cockpit when you can use them? I have no idea. Do you mean telescopic sights or the gyro sight and well the analog sight and the why is the words not in my head? The iron sight and the little projection sight. I can't remember the term. I have an original one of those actually. I think from Phantom. I have the projection crosshair. Doesn't work. It needs electricity, I think, but it's kind of cool. UFO could appear on the spaceport map. Yeah, that would be nice. Like stuff like that, I really like in games. It gives them like heart and charm, and I think at least from my perspective, War Thunder lacks that sometimes. So I would definitely like to see some more little things like that. Just fun stuff like that. If you had a clone of yourself, would you make him do all the work? I don't know. I probably wouldn't trust a clone of myself. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if I met an identical version of myself, I would be dubious of its like motives and identity, and so I'm not sure I would trust it. I really don't know. I really don't know about that. So it's a really cool question though, but I think I'd be incredibly wary of it. Um, is the SU11 worth buying? It's a really strong vehicle. It's a really strong vehicle. It's the BR that's quite I mean, you have a lot of advantages at the BR. It's not the most agile thing in the world. The guns are kind of tricky to aim, but speed is really, really effective, and I think it's quite a forgiving entry level jet for the BR. So yeah, I think if you get it on sale or if it's something you really, really like, I would be I think so. It's a strong vehicle. Strong vehicle for show. Um, YouTube, what are you telling me now? Um, the Jumbo 76 going to 6-3. Yep, it's performing incredibly well. Um, More so than many contemporaries. So yeah, it's moving up. As well as the T26 as well, I believe. Do you think we'll ever have a 3D skin for a tank? You can kind of like fake it with bitmaps, I think. Uh, but I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know of what kind of abilities that we have to do that. But maybe they are pretty cool when they're done right. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm missing lots of chats here. Mm, what do you think about the Jumbo 76 going to 6-3? I mean, it's odd. Well, not really odd, but it's an incredibly effective aggressive vehicle, and in the right situation and against, well, tigers and panthers, it's incredibly strong. Um, it's one of the most reliably aggressive vehicles at the BR, and the thing is, I often find it a bad comparison when people compare the Jumbo to other heavy tanks because it doesn't function like a heavy tank at all. It's basically it's like the way the T32 is barely a heavy tank. It's like it functions in game like a medium tank with very reliable armor. And so comparing it to analogs of other heavy tanks, I don't think works very well. And I think using the example of it's a heavy tank, therefore such and such and such and such, it detracts from the argument of just how well it's performing. So I think it takes away from the vehicle's ability to do what it does well at 6-3, but at the same time, it was destroying vehicles below its BR too frequently. And I think when you look at battle ratings in this game, it always pays to look at the vehicles the vehicles that are fighting the tank or the plane, because if it's like, yeah, you will suffer a bit more now potentially playing the Jumbo, but the other 16 people in the lobby will struggle less fighting it. And so, it's not all about, there are many factors involved. And if it's, trying to create a sort of, collective, the highest possible game balance on all fronts and being fair to all parties involved with uh, the vehicle and the relationship in the match with the vehicle, um, there's more things that are involved than I think people take credit for on the surface. Because the Jumbo 76, see, Ruby, that's not the case, and I think uh, the thing is, it's easy for someone to sit here and say the Jumbo is not performing well, and it's down to the teams that it's fighting. Because with the greatest of respect, you and no one else here knows that. That's something you can assume based on the tiny perspective you have on the matches that you play and the matches you play with the vehicle and fight the vehicle. So it's not as easy as that. And so no one can really sit here and say it's not performing well because of this in the absence of the data. And I mean, by all means, you can assume, but don't try and make that assumption fact because it isn't. And if you try and approach the game that way and invent the evidence for yourself, you'll never come to a worthwhile conclusion, and it will stray the narrative of why things are the way they are too far from the truth, which is detrimental in every single way and makes the divide between everyone further. So I think it's quite reductive to present the argument in that way. And even deconstructing that sentence even further, in the Jumbo is performing well because the teams it's fighting aren't very good, it's then performing well because it's playing better than what it fights. And if, you can play semantics and saying that the teams are bad, therefore the teams aren't performing well, therefore the vehicles that are fighting those teams are better. It's not as black and white as it's being painted here. And so there's way more that goes into it than that, I'm afraid. Mm. Yak Panthers and everything along 88 will annihilate the Jumbo. Again, it's not as easy and it's not as black and white as that. Um, you have vehicles that can knock it out frontally at its own BR. I mean, you can, even at 5.3, the Jumbo can be penned frontally by vehicles. And, it's not a vehicle that's designed to be invulnerable, especially now that it has a cannon at 6.3 that can perform very well. And I mean, if you play the Jumbo safely and in its peak environment, it doesn't matter that vehicles can pen it frontally, because with every heavy tank, vehicles can pen it frontally at its own BR and below it. It's a moot point in this sense. Um, the Jumbo is incredibly versatile and incredibly reactive. The short stabilizer, the armor from angles, from the front, from the side. You can corner peek incredibly effectively. The short stop means you can get a shot off on enemy accurately faster than they can get a shot off on you. And if you know how the Jumbo works and what its advantages are, if you put it in the right spot, you can barrel long 88s for days. And I think again, it's a disingenuous perspective to present it as it can be penned. Therefore, what it's not all about that. And there's more factors that go into it. And the reason why I often say the Jumbo should not really be considered as a heavy tank is that it plays nothing like one in the traditional sense. In that it is more of a medium playstyle wise than as a heavy tank. And so comparing it on that basis doesn't really work as well, I think. Wait, the 76mm at 6.3 is okay? In the right spot, absolutely. And if you are fighting something that it's going to struggle against, I mean, for example, the Tiger 2H, for example, I said example twice for some reason. The core, well, a lot of the core play style of the early Jumbo is barreling. You can basically knock anything out comfortably by shooting the barrel and then 50 calling the track, and then you can either use APCR or go around the side. I mean, and again, it doesn't need to have an incredible gun to perform well. I mean, the gun at 6.3, yeah, it's going to struggle against a lot of things, but because the Jumbo plays the way it does, with having decent mobility for its armor class, and being able to have the short stop stabilizer, roll around the map quite comfortably and react very quickly, it can negate armor quite well for what it is. It's not easy, but with how good its armor is potentially and how good the mobility works in tandem with the short stop stabilizer, you can still make it work, absolutely. And I mean, like, I hate doing this because I think it's a really bad way to present the point. But I mean, I can make that tank work in 7.0 really easily. Not all the time, obviously. I mean, this is the time where I can say that, and I don't know, you can search through my replays of me playing it and dying immediately and, paint that as if it means anything, which is why I don't like using the argument. But if you play it correctly on the best maps, lineups are important. You can make that thing work in up tiers fine. Just because the gun lacks, it doesn't mean the vehicle itself is redundant at all. And I think it's reductive to dumb down the vehicle to that one drawback. In the same way that people do the same thing for the Jumbo at 5.3, in that it's not the gun that's stops it from working. It works fine if you approach what you fight carefully, which is what you need to do. And yeah, I think it's not going to be that great at 6.3 because of the up tiers, but it's not going to be redundant. And as well, I think people saying, oh, it's the same BR as the Tiger 2P, which I've seen quite a lot. I'm not just pulling it out of nowhere. It's an argument I've seen brought up a lot. Excuse me, is that people think that because it's a heavy tank, it needs to play like other heavy tanks. And I think if you have that approach, you won't understand why the Jumbo works. I don't want to just sort of plant myself in your head, Psychonaut style, and deconstruct how you think about things. And I say you very broadly because I'm not talking about anyone in particular. But there's way more that goes into making that vehicle work than the basic aspects on the surface. And I think giving it a bit more time is very valuable to getting the most out of that vehicle. Did you used to live in England? Yes, I still own my flat in the UK, in Margate. Sorry, I missed that. That was a very long tangent. That armor won't even matter at 6-3. It does, and it still works fine. I mean, just because you're fighting at 6-3 doesn't mean you're not going to fight, short 88s, Panthers, the Russian 85, etc. You will. And as well, it's another black and white thing of you see the BR of 6-3 and you think, oh, I'll be fighting just long 88s and, 1-2-2s and, 20 pounders. You will, but that's not going to be the only thing you fight by far. And again, it's easy for us as text on a screen in this chat here to say armor is redundant because it can potentially fight things that negate it is meaningless as well. I mean, I don't mean to be insulting to say that what you said is meaningless, but as an argument, it doesn't work. And there's more to it than that again. I mean, if you angle right and you bait, you can sometimes bounce long 88 shots. I mean, it's not going to be super reliable, but if you angle, keep on the move, which is something the Jumbo's really good at doing, you can occasionally bounce the shots, or better yet, the Jumbo's mobility works in such a way that you don't really need to put yourself in a position where you're fighting those vehicles head on anymore. Especially on urban maps where, you have the mobility, just enough mobility to roll around outside of the main, front line. It can absolutely work. And yeah, and I mean, I think if you play the Jumbo expecting, well, at 6-3, expecting it, well, to have a heavy tank experience, you're going to fail. And in all honesty, you can't blame the tank for that. IS-2 is the best, but after 5-3, things get worse. They have a really strong 6-3 lineup. They've got some good TDs. T-44 is one of my favorite vehicles of all time. It's a really, really good tank. And the Mod 44 is pretty okay. It's not amazing, but I still quite like it. They used to be my favorite tank for a while. I got a Talisman on it back in the day, and I did quite like it. I feel like the SU-122P is a sleeper hit as well. That thing's great. I love that thing. Semi-automatic loading breach, so the 122 is reloaded quicker, post-roll round, low profile, okay armor really, and I quite like it. Yeah, T-44 is quite a short vehicle. I think the biggest drawback of that thing is it's really bouncy. When you try and like stop, the suspension rocks like really, really bad. And that's probably my biggest like dislike of it really. What BR do you think the Steyr mill should be at? It's difficult because at whatever BR you put it at, excuse me, whatever BR you put it at, its disadvantages will always be there. It's always going to have a long reload. It's always going to be weak. It's always going to be weak from the air, and it's always going to be slow. I remember getting unlocking all the camos for that thing when it was at 6-3. And I think if I were to play it again now at what is it now actually? Is it a 4-3 now? I really can't remember. I think it's around that because the Dicker moved down recently as well. And I would wager that if I played it again now at its current BR, it wouldn't perform much different. And I think just because it's got like a devastating gun, it doesn't really mean it should be higher. Because the Dicker Max, for example, you can play that thing at like 5-7 and still like one-shot stuff easily. Same with the Steyr, you can play that like way beyond its BR and it's still going to do fine. Because its offensive advantages are the same wherever you put it, and its defensive drawbacks are the same wherever you put it. So BR for a vehicle like that is not really as important, if you know what I mean, in that it can be like any BR within that range and still perform relatively the same. Because at like 6-3 with the Steyr, you weren't exactly struggling with the gun at all. You could still penetrate anything really. But the rest of its drawbacks are still, there, and they're still prevalent, and it's still the same. Yeah, so it is 4-3. I was correct. And yeah, exactly. It's the 128 is overkill like that. So yeah, it's tricky. Also, I will incredibly quickly run to the secret documents room, which is not the toilet, and then come back just to check over some particular things. I will literally run down the annex, and I'll be very, very quick. I'll be back. Beverages cut through me very easily. I'll be back. Hello. I am back again. Um, yes. Why are we egging? Why do we have an egg moment? Hello. I have returned. I forgot there was a picture of the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket in the bathroom, and it shocked me for a second. Um, yes. What did I miss? YouTube, please. Why have the eggs begun? Terrible. Yes. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, hang on. Hmm. Okay. I'll get this one too. Hang on. I'm meddling again. Very good. Okay. So, back on track, I suppose. Yes, why not? Cool. So, righty. Egg, egg cults. Egg, egg, egg. Yep. Yep, yep. I am very, very speed at getting reports correct. Hmm. How are you doing, by the way, Mustang? It's been a short while since we have conversed. I've nearly finished my beverage. Do you like the chair, by the way? I quite like the chair. It's not very comfy, but you know, it's I can, don't know, respect it, I guess. What was your favorite thing about the chair? Why did I even ask that? Hmm. Egg afterburner. We are just. This is like a fever dream right now. Excuse me. I like this angle. You can just sort of see the little eyes of the cat. I like that. I like that. That's cool. Yes. Lag potentially yes. There's lots of calls going on right now, so yeah, the internet will be a bit sporadic. I must say, which is a shame, but you know. Hello, Cake. Much love. How are you? Eggy chair. Okay, we have gone off the rails with the egg business here. I am the peak egg, as we have discussed already. But yeah, I know. Egg moment. Cats are lovely on clothing. I agree. Where'd you find these clothes? Just at like lots of different sites, I guess. Some you can even get on Amazon. There are a couple of places I kind of get clothes from, just because the brands are kind of nice. Well, the material they use is not garbage. Ugh, why's my hair doing this? Oh, sometimes I look over to the other monitor and I see myself and I realize what a disaster I look like. Absolute mess. Anyway, doing lovely. How are you? I'm okay. I'm glad you're doing lovely. That is very good to hear. Um, is this the official War Thunder server? Yeah, yeah, kinda. Why do I look so sad? Do I really look like this? Sometimes my brain flicks on and it remembers what I look like and then panics. That's not very good. Okay, hang on. Oh, that's a nice one. Do we have documentation? Mm, no, I'll leave that. Okay. Have you ever played Naval, by the way? Yep. I've apart from some of the most recent stuff, I've played and spaded every single ship, every coastal ship and blue water ship, apart from like the ships of the last 2 or 3 updates. But all the others I've played and spaded. I hear movement outside. Ominous. When egg? Well, you have an egg right here, so it's not an addiction. It's for my job. I resell stuff, and I'm playing around with medals right now. Um, what would you say to people who claim that Gaijin don't play their own game? Well, I mean, I play with them quite a lot, so I mean, yeah, that's probably the argument I'll go with. But at the same time, it's weird that people think that developers play their own game a lot. They don't in any game, really. I mean, I know a fair few developers from other game studios now, and they rarely play their own product because they're just too busy, well, developing it. And so yeah, they do. Like a lot of the Gaijin staff play War Thunder, but not to the degree that people seem to think they should, which is fine and normal and just well, yeah. There's not really too much else to say about it, I guess. How many planes do you have spaded? Everything. Up until a few updates ago, I had every single aircraft, tank, ship spaded. But not anymore because I don't have enough time. But there've been times in this game. Sorry, I'm adjusting my hair so much. There've been times in this game where I have spaded everything. Wasn't there a dev that failed to take off from a carrier on a stream? Yeah, but you need to understand that that's not because the dev is not competent enough to take off. It's that at the time, I think the catapult on the carrier was broken, and so it didn't work. So it's disingenuous to blame the developer for that. Um, but yeah, are you a tryhard? No, I don't have the energy to to do that in this game much at the moment. I can sometimes if like I'm playing with some sweaty friends who just want to win, but most of the time I won't. Um, is that Rotor? Hello, how are you doing? How was your birthday? What did you do? How, man, getting old. We're getting old, dude. Terrible. I have all respect to Gaijin employees, but I once fought against them on the enemy team and they were bad at the game. I don't think they are bad at the game. I mean, there's no one that doesn't have bad games, you know? And I mean, they're not going to have enough time to play the game to a level of intense competency. But even so, I mean, you know, I'm pretty competent at the game, and there's going to be instances where you run into me and I don't perform very well. So, you know, goes further than that. Mm, how many times have you been reported for cheating? I can see how many times I've been reported, and I think I want to say it was 348. I think it's either 348 or 336. I know both those numbers from something, but yeah, it's a lot of times I think. Um, yeah, I think that's just because I've played a lot. Really, that's not meant to be like a humble brag or whatever. It's just that when you play, well, played enough time in the game as me, you'll kind of, I guess, have all those moments too. Birthday was good. Hang out with friends, chill with doggos. Very nice. I'm glad. How are the puppas doing? Since it's on some of the internal tools, it's not anything publicly available. Uh, the chair is brown and slightly rounded, so it's like an egg. Really? Do you want to know something? Do you want to know something about the chair? Because, I mean, if you want the truth, I'll give you the truth. It's not brown, it's my cardigan. It's grey. It's grey, it's not brown. Japed. This is what we're all about here today. This is a jape stream. You believed and you thought, and it was all a lie. Much like many things in life, but more so the chair. I'm sorry about that, but it just had to be done. Back to normal. How many hours do you have in War Thunder? Lots of them, but I can't tell you exactly how many because if you guess, you get 50 kg, but it needs to be correct to the hour. But no one's got it yet. Some people have got kind of close, but not really. $50 kilograms? Question mark. In relation to what? Yes. You get 50k GE if you GE is in Golden Eagles. Not you just get 50 kilograms of something. Although that would still be quite funny. Mr. Waffle, you need to stop letting my hair upset you. It will only make you sad. Um, what can we get with 50k GE? Well, anything really. You can get mostly anything. Um, yeah, you can unlock a lot of nice premiums in pretty much every tree. Um, a lot of these guesses are, and by the way, as well, you can't just look up any of my accounts on the public account searcher thing, which will tell you the time played, because that doesn't count everything. And the number that we have on the internal system is the exact amount of seconds you are active in the game, and that is what we will be going off. So you can't find out on that, I'm afraid. But yeah, it's an okay indication, but it's you won't be able to get close within even thousands of hours, I think. Prestige guesses 11,069 hours. I can tell you it is way more than double that. Have you ever played War Thunder on an i3 laptop? I played War Thunder and got to the Meteor Mark III on a laptop that would crash on some AirRB maps and could only run arcade at about 14 FPS. And that's how I started playing. And yeah, it was a time. I didn't really hate it though. But yeah, very difficult, but I still enjoyed it, I think. Way more than double, yes. How did a Sherman turret side bounce my 85? I mean, if it was a jumbo, the 85 can't get through unless it's at point blank. Excuse me. Um, or you could have just hit like a weird sloping part. It's certainly possible. As soon as it counts every active second you have. So every like second you're in a match, and every time. Oh, hang on, I need to do some eBay stuff. And every time that you are actually having impact in the game, like you actually are doing something, basically. Um, hang on a second. Tell me how many I have. Remind me after the stream, and I can check for you. Okay. I mean, I don't dislike sunlight. Why are people so obsessed with trying to paint me as this weird character like this? I understand that my hair is quite long and I have quite pale skin, and I mean, those two factors alone are not really enough to derive my motives or intentions. I just don't go to the hairdressers much in Germany because none of them speak English, and I won't get what I want. And I go outside every day. It's just not that sunny here. So yeah, like I'm sorry that I'm pale and that this upsets you. Um, I don't really know what else to say about it. I just have pale skin quite, I mean, well, quite genetically, I guess, actually, and everyone in my family is very, very pale. Um, yeah, it's just how it be. Uh, you are egg, that is why. Correct, I am. You guys are guessing tens of thousands. I've played uh, tens of thousands. I can tell you that it's well over 20,000 hours that I've played. Vampire confirmed. Well, I mean, I do have green eyes, so you know, who knows? Where did I ship that one to? I don't even think I entered an address for that. Oh well. Hang on a second. Oh, look, that went to my flat. Okay, one sec. I'm just Mm, mm. Okay. Filter. I love those mighty oaks, don't you? I need this one. Okay. Right, there's some more going on later. Right, okay. Cool. Cool. Right. Oxy looks exactly how he sounds. You're one of the first people to ever say that to me. So maybe you are immensely perceptive or, I don't know, interesting. Because most people say the opposite. We'll see. Um, Mr. Whippy, I don't know. Generally, I think it's that because I don't know, I look different to a lot of people, which is, I guess, not untrue. I do look a bit weird, and I mean, people attack what they don't know. So, I mean, if people can't, I guess, pick up on anything that I'm saying, they're gonna go with what I look like, and I mean, it's just the, I don't know, the simplest way to be negative towards me, I guess, which is fine. I mean, this is my job basically, so you know, it doesn't keep me up at night or anything. We good. Um, what are you ordering? Medals to sell, wartime medals. Yes, I am the egg that must be protect. Otherwise, I'll crack, and that will be bad. Well, debatably. Um, this is interesting. Do you have any real jobs, like being a cashier or a cook? So the implication is that a real job is not having a full-time position here. There's a lot of weird ego in this conversation. Perhaps some introspection is required. This is my full-time job. I'm a marketing manager. I just do streaming incidentally. This is not my entire job. Um, okay. See-through mug, yes. It's yellow, and the green screen is predictably green. It's just, I don't know. It's the green screen is not the happiest, and not the most, I guess, accommodating of other colors. The mug isn't even green, lols. It's yellow. It's super annoying. Yeah, Mr. Whippy, it's normal. After about an hour and like 40 minutes, every single time follows the same trend. And you know, people just get bored with the conversation and whatever. Um anyway, I'll probably sort of finish up soon, I guess, maybe. If there's any other questions that you have, I can try and answer. Do you guys get a say on major changes made to the game? We can comment on anything. If there's a new suggestion coming to the game or whatever, then well, a new excuse me. If there's a like a new feature or a new change, we can all weigh in on it. It's a very flat structure in that everyone can kind of comment on anything else, which is pretty good. So yeah, we can. Not in the sense that you know, if a developer is making a decision I don't agree with, I have little grounds to kind of argue with that. In the same way that a developer would not be telling me how to market something. You know, it's we can have our own opinions on it, and we're able to put those forward. But just because we can put our opinions forward doesn't mean it's going to get actioned or anything like that. You know. You good a sleep schedule? Yes, I get about 7.5 to 8 hours every night. So, um, can I ask every when there is a stream like this? This stream is every Monday at this time, and then we'll be streaming on Thursday with Mike as well. Um, okay. Hmm. What's the price of petrol in the UK? No idea. I don't drive. Will your story open? Yes. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I'm going to go back to the UK soon and sort out the stock I need, and then I'm going to get it professionally shipped over, and then hopefully I can start it up again. 7.5 hours. Damn, bro, sleep more. No, if you sleep more, you're going to wake up more tired. Do you know how sleeping works? If you sleep too long, you're going to be dehydrated and exhausted when you wake up. That's a disaster of an idea. No. Between like 5.5 to like 8 hours is pretty solid for me. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I were to talk about an attribute I have, I am obnoxiously patient in that, like, if I'm in like a staring contest with someone, or like, if it's in War Thunder or whatever, where someone's waiting for me to push, I will guarantee they will get bored before I will. I, I don't know. I've always been quite good like that. I think. Um, I don't really have a problem with that kind of thing. Um, Halloween very soon. Yes, I have lots of Halloween jumpers I'm gonna wear. I'm kind of excited about that. I have some with cats on, some with pumpkins on. It's gonna be a good time. And of course, I mean, you know, I don't have much of a personality, so I need interesting clothing to compensate. Um, I don't know. We literally have the same water glasses. Yeah, I think they're from IKEA. Yeah, they are. They're kind of nice. Hmm. Go on then, I'll ask you guys a question. What's your favorite ground RB lineup? Any BR, tanks and planes. What kind of thing do you like? I would like to know actually, some perspective. Yes, cake. I have two more cat jumpers actually. I have two more. One blue one and one with more pumpkins. 7-7 Japan. This man knows. This man knows. 6-7 Germany, 5-7 Germany, 4-7 Britain. Yep, yep, yep. German 6-3, 5-3 USA. That's a good one. It's one of my favorites too. 4-7 Brit ground. Nice. 1-7 Italy. Yep. They've got some fun ones too. 5-7 Russia. Yep. Very, very good one. 7-3 Britain. Also very good. I can confirm. 6-0 America. Sad times. I agree. 7-7 Bong. 4-7 Britain. Yeah, 4-7 Britain seems quite popular actually. And it's interesting that most of these are low tier, or at least not in the highest echelon. My back hurts. Ow. Trying to massage my back. It's kind of working, I think. Although it probably looks quite weird from the angle you can see right now. 3-3 Germany, 5-3 Germany, 4-7 Egg, 4-7 USA, 9-0 Germany, 6-3 Russia, 2-7 Russia, 8-3 USSR. Yeah, these are pretty good. Yeah, that's my kind of gripe with top tier really, is that it's too samey. I don't really feel like kills are earned as much, and I mean, it's good for like reaction times if that's all you really kind of want to push. But I mean, it dulls down the gameplay to the point where it just becomes too simple, and like that's good in its own way. But it's not really, I guess, why I like the game, or rather why I joined the game in the first place. I guess 6-0 Germany with the Jagdpanther and Panthers is a great time too. Yes, very much. 4-7 Britain has some really unique vehicles. Yeah, and that's why I like it too. It's a really versatile lineup because you've got the Church 7, really good heavy tank. Got the Avenger for like that kind of versatile medium in between, and for up tiers, the Firefly again, really versatile in between, and the Concept 3 as well. So you've got a really, really good set of vehicles there. Um, Oxy, how much do you hate going against the Dicamax? I can't even remember the last time a Dicamax has killed me. Not very frequently, I think. They're usually quite predictable as vehicles. Um, so yeah, not very much. I can kind of see that, Milo. Yeah, like top tier in position, well, positioning becomes much more important, but a lot of other things get less important. It levels the playing field, which is good in some instances, but all it really boils down to is, I think I used this in one of the videos, is it's map knowledge, reaction times, and luck to an extent. and that kind of strips away a lot of the depth of this game for me, and so I don't really like it as much. And I mean, yeah, just pointing and clicking and going to the spots in the map that I know are good, it just gets a bit too repetitive. And all the vehicles basically have the same strengths and weaknesses in their own way, um, and nothing really changes too much. Every tank is mobile. Every tank has weak side armor, and mostly every tank has a either weak breach, lower plate, driver's port, you know, turret ring kind of. And in the lower tiers, it's like you will meet a vehicle. Well, you'll meet like two vehicles one after the other and have to approach them entirely differently. And I like that. Of the top tier, it's just you click on the same spot faster than they click on you from a good position, and it's just that's not like a bad gameplay loop. It's just not why I started playing the game and enjoying it. I liked the kind of variance and the tanks you can fight. And when everything got too simple and streamlined and everything had basically the same advantages and disadvantages, I just kind of lost interest in it as much. Um, what's better, the American M3 Lee or the English? I think the American one. The Grant has way better turret armor, of course, but it loses the short stop stabilizer for the 37, and that really hurts it because it means the reaction time is limited. And yeah. So I think the American one's better, even though the turret armor on the Grant's great. The Grant's more defensive, in that if you play hull down, it can work really well. But for a kind of versatile vehicle like it is, you're going to want to roll around outside of cover, because if you're just staying behind cover and using the 37, what's the point of the 75? So I think the American one works better, I would say. Yeah, Zach, exactly. The barrel of the Super Pershing just stopped the shot. It was great. Yeah, I used that clip in my video, and I just put the "Get down, Mr. President" text when it floated past. That was kind of fun. Um, yeah. Also in that video, when I was making a comment, I remembered a memory that I had. When I was younger, I distinctly remember watching on this VHS tape. The tape was like a collection. It was like a collection of like, I don't know, 12, 15 cartoons. And they were like the first one or two episodes of each cartoon. So it was like a sample, basically. And there was a cartoon on there of like Henry the Hoover and like Henry the Hoover's friends. And I know it existed because I watched it, but it doesn't exist. For like 20 years, I've been trying to find this cartoon of Henry Hoover, and it was on a VHS tape, and I can't find it, and it seems like it doesn't exist. It wasn't the Teletubbies. There's a Hoover in the Teletubbies. It was Henry Hoover, and it just doesn't exist. I've been looking for it for years, and it just does. It's just not real. It's just not real at all. And I think I'm just kind of stroking out, but I know it was there because I watched that tape on repeat constantly. And I don't even know. I think I probably lost the tape ages ago because I mean it was a VHS tape, so my mum probably threw it away a long time ago. But yeah, if anyone can find this Henry Hoover, uh, like TV show or like whatever it was, I don't remember it being very long. But yeah, let me know because I'd love to find it. Would you be doing a plane review like your tank ones? I'd like to, but I think it needs to be approached differently. So it'll take a while to figure out what I want to do. So yeah, I'd like to, but I think I need to get back into being very competent at aircraft again. I play a lot of air. I'm pretty good at it, but I think I could be better, and I want to wait for that. Yeah, Mystic, you're right. I mean, like, I love archiving stuff because I've just got like a stupid brain, and there's so much stuff that's lost forever, and that breaks my heart, dude. Like, it sounds like kind of cringe, I guess, but knowing that there's a piece of media or something that will never be watchable again is really sad. I think we don't like missing out as humans, so yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I'm in agreement there. Can we get a brief description? Um, I remember it being kind of like there wasn't a lot of depth in the cartoon in that like it wasn't like a 3D space. It seemed like a more 2D space. Like it was very kind of budget, almost like maybe it was like an in between two shows. Like maybe it was like an advert show kind of thing. Because I don't remember being very long. I remember there being hello, Mr. Copsey. Yes, he has truly come over to the light side. Amazing. But but yeah, so it was quite short, I think. And I remember the Hoover didn't like roll. It kind of it moved like it was walking in my memory. And I think they were trying to find something. There was like Henry the Hoover and Henry Hoover's friends. I think one of them was like a toy dog or something, but I really don't remember that one that much. Um, yeah, I remember the backgrounds being quite simple. Like it was a very rushed thing, kind of like it wasn't really in depth. Like I was watching stuff um on that VHS like the animals of Farthing Wood and that kind of thing. So it was around that era, and this one was kind of short. And yeah, I can't really remember. They were looking for like I think someone had lost something, and they were trying to find it. And I think I want to say that like they thought that Henry Hoover had like sucked it up, but he hadn't, and it was they found it somewhere else, and it was like they thought the Hoover had taken it, but it wasn't the case. I don't remember much other than that, or even if those details are correct. But I do remember it quite vividly because that was the tape I watched all the time. Because I liked the fact that I could watch lots of different shows back to back with no adverts because I was quite young at the time, like with VHS. And yeah, I really want to find it. He's searching for an Indiana Jones movie. He normally finds stuff. I mean, that's not untrue. I'm trying to find a Henry Hoover cartoon from like the 80s or 90s, maybe 70s. I don't even know. It looked really old. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, I think we'll probably round up soon because I have several things to do this evening. And so when the tank footage resets, I believe we will call it for today because we have gone a bit off the rails, I guess. And yeah, at that point, it's usually time to vacate, I suppose. I'm searching for like a cartoon that I remember watching when I was younger that I have not been able to find for like 20 years, and I can't find it. And yeah, it was on an old VHS tape. I'm pretty sure that I had. There was like a collection of cartoons, and yeah, I've not been able to find it for the longest time. What would you do if you found it? I I guess I'd watch it and be happy for a while. I don't know really. I haven't really thought about it. Thank you, Nanook. Have a good evening yourself, or whatever regional time it is for you. I hope it's a nice time. Where can we message you? You can message me on Discord, I guess. I'm usually there, even if I pretend I'm not. Reach out to the YouTuber Blame It on George. Is that George or I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. He's the Lost Media guy? Maybe. I guess I could. Isn't it about a vacuum? Yeah, it's like a vacuum with a face on it. That's what it'd be. Yeah, if anyone finds that, I don't know if I could give you like a bounty or something. I would say that I'd give you like some golden eagles, but I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I'll give you um Copsy, no please. Don't do this. Maybe you can, because we're chums, but everyone maybe not. Um what's your Discord? You can find it on my like my Oxy Discord, but you don't need to you do that. I don't like shilling or anything, so you don't have to, but you can if you like. Hmm. Yes. Yeah, I want to find it. Maybe I don't know. I'll give you something, whatever you want, within reason, I guess. Anyway, the footage has come full circle. Oh, Zarf, yes. I want to make that, and I think I will try making it soon as a sort of in between from other stuff that I'm doing. So, yes, I will do this. Thank you for reminding me, actually, because I wanted to start this a few weeks ago. So, why did I do that? Why did I do that with my eye? Why am I still doing it? Anyway, I should probably vacate for now, I guess, because we have gone off the rails, I guess, a little bit. And yeah, then it just gets a little bit difficult, I guess, and I feel like I'm not doing my job properly. So, yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's been a bit sort of disconnected and kind of low energy. I need some more water before I do these. Lots going on at the moment. But yeah, thank you very much for being here. I hope it's been roughly nice, or well, not roughly nice, roughly a nice time. Those are two different things. And yes, so I hope you have a lovely day, night, or evening. And yeah, I will see you all on Thursday. Okay. Yeah, have a good day.